Well, we're moments away from the finale of this season, the big 10th anniversary finale, and I thought it would probably be the best time to get this review done. The review of the first ever episode of Death Battle and its remake. This is the first episode I ever saw. Does it hold up at all? Let's find out.
That's right, Boomstick!
No, not particularly, but what would you expect? The analysis is bad, mostly unfunny, has the worst Wiz performance ever, it is saved exclusively by the most That's Right Boomstick delivery of That's Right Boomstick we'll ever get, and I love it. It's just so fucking bad, but god is it charming. It's not something I usually go back to, after all I have no end of old episodes where I can just go back and enjoy a fun analysis, but it's fine. Does the fight hold up? Absolutely fucking not, but what do you expect? As an animator myself, I can say that Ben Singer's first foray into animation, or second technically, is far from the worst thing I've ever seen. The start is fine, with it actually setting up a story, which not even all modern episodes do. Samus doesn't have the long beam, but Samus has her other weapons, and Fett takes the Arans really quickly. We get the one actually half decent shot of the animation as Fett flies around with the screw attacking Samus behind him, even if I don't get why he doesn't just do something when she approaches. Samus runs off and Boba fires off his anti-vehicle missile for some reason. His radar, I guess, just decides not to pick up Samus as she sneaks up on him, drops a power bomb, and we get our first kill. A freeze into decapitation. Sure, could be worse. The conclusion, that is the worst. Fucking hell, this is hilariously bad in the worst way possible. Oh, Boba Fett is just cunning. He's not smart enough to tag someone who jumps around agilely like a Jedi. Those things he kills countless of, apparently. Oh, he just shoots all over the place. Oh, quite cunning if I do say so myself. And the fucking homing rocket argument. Samus is only a fourth the size of this vehicle we decided to say that she's 1/4 the size of. So there's only a 1 in 4 chance of her hitting, getting hit by it. There were vehicles smaller than this car. It's Star Wars. It's called speeders. Oh shit, she was moving around so we couldn't lock on her? Boy, it sure does suck that Fett has never hit a moving vehicle. He just goes around shooting his homing rocket at stationary ones. Okay, this is a bad episode, obviously, but god, it's charming. I can't dislike this. And like, with all the benefit of it being season 1 and my low expectations, I'm giving it a 6. It's not actively better than any episode that's a 5 or even a 4, and not in the same tier as the other 6s in terms of quality, but it's a case of season 1 just working on a wholly different scale to the rest of the series, and it's ironically funny.
You two, you're gonna go far. But only if you keep learning. If you never stop moving forward.
Out of all the remade episodes that have and will come, this is easily the one that feels the most like a remake and least like a remaster. And honestly, it's quite good at that. It manages to have basically all the same notes and jokes as the original, but delivered in genuinely funny ways. Special mention to the bird DNA joke, which is actually funny now, and the Star Wars EU joke is genuinely really good, and I like it. And it's great, because Boba Fett vs. Samus came before the EU thing happened, so that's just great, I love that. It's a solid analysis. It literally just takes the old script and refines it in every way with better editing and vocal deliveries. The fight then, it's only 2 minutes long, and it's certainly okay. I quite like the start with Boba Fett and Samus Aran inside of their ships looking at a bunch of nonsense science fiction bullshit before Boba Fett shoots her down and she crashes because the slave one is baller. And the start of the fight is pretty decent. Samus goes for her basic shots, Boba responds with his own. Samus runs through his shots, which is, I guess she's running too fast for him to catch it, and then he fires his anti-vehicle rocket. Why? It didn't make sense in the first episode, but at least it was right at the end after he'd exhausted most of his stuff, not his second used weapon. Obviously Samus avoids it and we get a decent aerial clash with Samus Alpha Dog Dicks on Boba. Boba mindlessly fires wrist rockets at Samus as she rolls up to him and lays him the fuck out. Boba Fett now lands his first, and only hit of the entire fight. Yes, this has an L to the original episode. At the very least, it's a grenade, so even if he only landed 1 hit, it's a pretty big hit given what it does. And the way it plays out is really cool. So while he only landed 1 hit in the whole fight, at least it was a really good hit. Not that I'm sure why exactly this grenade takes out the majority of Samus' armor, with the exception of the boots that were right next to the grenade, meaning either her boots are just arbitrarily more durable than the rest of her armor, or Boba Fett used a reverse grenade that deals more damage the further away you are from the epicenter of the explosion. It's like, that whole first half was fairly decent, let's see how it goes. So Samus comes over and Boba pulls out a fucking lightsaber. This is not standard arsenal for Boba Fett. Boba running in, blocking Samus' pistol shots are cool, but then Samus swings her boot into his lightsaber and blocks it with the rocket part, and that's not how lightsabers work. It looks stupid. It should have ended with Samus getting her leg sliced in half. Samus now has a lightsaber too, and anyone who hasn't seen Haloid is probably very confused that this is meant to be a whip. They engage in a lightsaber fight, which is cool and well animated, but also fucking stupid. Samus then freezes Boba and shoots off his head, which is a cool callback to the first episode, and the conclusion is, it's better, but it's not as funny. So what did I think? It's alright, yeah? It isn't really as good as I'd want, with a relatively short battle, and honestly being a bit of a disappointment. It's a solid 7 out of 10, that's about it. And obviously in the moment when we were like first watching for the first time, it was hype as shit, because this was like, it was a remake of the first episode. And like when we were young and watching Death Battle back in 2015, but the ending is a 10. Sadly, the music isn't there anymore for copyright related reasons, I imagine, but this dancing tribute to Monty is probably the best thing in the history of anything ever. And that's all. What's the rest of the time in this video for? So believe it or not, Boba Fett vs. Samus Aran was not the first episode. The first episode was actually Boba Fett vs. Samus Aran, but shit. This, I believe, was played in the pre-show for the Boba Fett vs. Samus Aran remaster livestream, and I got to check it out live when that stream was happening. Unfortunately, I think the stream is lost now. I can't find it online or in the Wayback Machine. I'm pretty sure it was on Twitch, and that really sucks. I would love if Rooster Teeth would just sometime drop the original Who Would Win Raw online for anybody to watch, because right now the only way to watch it that I'm aware of is a reaction to my Your Only Mate, which I'll link in the description. Yeah, the guy that's solely responsible for me being okay with the existence of Blake vs. Mikasa, and the one who ate them on a cake. He got his most wanted, well I won't, and he has a fraction of subscribers, so I mean, I'm just fucking depressed. Anyway, I'm just stalling so I don't have to talk about this video. Alright, let's talk about the video. The original Who Would Win is predictably absolute crap. There's no boomstick, meaning we've just got the nonce, and it's using fucking Dragon Ball music for some reason. The editing is mediocre, the analysis is awful with a lot of jokes that aren't as funny with that boomstick, you know, because he's a funny one that people like. And the animation is terrible. I mean, for someone's first attempt at animation, it could be a lot worse, and I think, in terms of a starting point, this is actually fairly decent. It has different Samus sprites, which I kinda like, even if I prefer the ones they went with, and it follows all the same beats as the other one. And I'm sure all of you are immediately curious, why is this taking place in a realistic open field? Because it is, and this is just what the Screw Attack headquarters look like outside. I have this amazing image in my head of Ben Singer running out the door going, "Hey Chad, I'm gonna go take a picture of the field so I can make Boba Fett and Samus Aran fucking kill each other on it." Of course, it's really fucking stupid in a lot of places this time. Samus rolls away from a homing missile, and instead of going into a building and coming out the other side, she just zips around Boba on an open field without him seeing her, drops a bomb, rolls away from the explosion, and then instead of killing him from behind, she just rolls all the way back in front of him for no reason. Makes a bit more sense in the actual episode as she rolls back into a building and probably thought, I might as well go back to the other side and I can just avoid the explosion's duration while I'm under there. Here she just gets hit with it, I guess, and doesn't take the damage. Boba, like an absolute goober, tries to fire his flamethrower from out of range and dies. But instead of a decapitation, he gets killed by he just fucking yonked into the stratosphere. Suffice to say, this episode 0 sucks, and it's bad, and it's charming, and I love it. I wish I could watch it on my own. I mean, that probably makes it sound like I have something against Your Only Mate. I don't. I would love to be able to watch this raw, just not as a reaction. I'm not giving this episode a score. I don't think it should be included. I'm just looking at it because I wanted to talk about this moderately obscure but fun piece of Death Battle history that I would love Rooster Teeth to just give to us already. I really don't want this to become lost media outside of this one reaction. Still, if you want to watch it, I highly recommend going to check out Your Only Mate's reaction and give them some support while you're there. So that was that. A bit shorter than I expected, but I mean, it's really only 2 episodes and they have very little going on. Next time we're reviewing the finale, Saitama vs. Popeye, and then wrapping this whole gig up. You'll see what I mean. I'll see you then. Have a good one, fellas.